Hello Yugioh Family, how are we today? Good to hear. Today's discussion, first discussion actually, on spellbooks, as you can see by the title. For years now we've had a few different spellbook decks. We had the Priestess build, which is the most original build I think, and then we had Spellbook of Judgment, and that thing was broken and completely changed the format. Format was revolved around it, the entire deck was revolved around it. You had the Star Halls, you had the Judgment, Kaiku and Jiaogan, you kind of changed all the bosses. That thing got banned, and then we got World of Prophecy. Few decks were enjoying that one. I was liking that. But lately there's been a few Priestess builds topped, and then we've seen like a couple deck profiles that prefer the World. Then we've had people that live by the Priestess build. And I've been one of the people that really like the World build, but after seeing a few of the deck profiles and the videos, I have kind of switched over to the Priestess build. I've just changed my Spellbook deck back to the Priestess build. It is more consistent, so today I have dedicated this video to discussing the pros and cons of both the decks. I was going to show off my new haircut too, but I'm having a fucking bad haircut day, so... Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm a humongous Spellbook player. I love Spellbooks, I live by them. I've played them for the Priestess build before Judgment got released, and then I played for the entire format, obviously, with Judgment. With the Kaiku and Jiaogan build I played, and then I went to the World build, and now I'm back to the Priestess build. They have dropped a tier or two, but I still swear by the deck. It's not the deck, it's the player. If you're a good pilot of Spellbooks, then you can beat any deck. So, High Priestess of Prophecy. Reveal 3 Spellbooks from your hand, special summon her. She's a free special summon, and once per turn you can banish a spellbook from your graveyard or your hand to blow up a card in the field. This build is a lot more consistent than the World build. If you open up with your Justice and a spellbook you can play, if you open up with Secrets or Crescent, you're going to win the duel. You're going to get your plus, so it works really well with the new rule where you start with 5, because if you open up with Justice and a spellbook, you're going to get your pluses. You're going to end with 6, and you'll have 6 of their 6, plus you'll have a 7th, and then you'll get your Secrets for your Magician, so you'll plus again. So the deck is revolved around replacing itself and plussing, which is really good for this format and really good for the game in general, I find. Because having more cards in your hand than your opponent is apparently a good thing in the game. That's what I've heard. Some people just like to drop a Priestess, keep control of the board when they do something, interfere, keep control. Other players like to get their setup nice and certain, and just apply all that pressure to you in one turn. Drop a Priestess, see if it survives, maybe blow up a back row with one of your spellbooks in your grave, drop your second one, see if it survives, blow up another card, drop your third one, you're going to push the game. And there are cards that kind of shit on spellbooks, like DNA Surgery, those kind of one-offs. If you do get your setup right, you have a couple of Priestesses, you can drop one, bait out the Bottomless, or if it survives, blow up the DNA Surgery, get your Wisdom, or you already have your Wisdom, drop your second one, drop your third one. It's really good for those kind of players. And something the World build does not have whatsoever is the extra deck capability for actually good cards. You have your Big Eye, steal their shit. Big Eye's a spellcaster, so you can bump it up. You can have your Fate live, your Wisdom live, you can protect it. You can use your Master, you can use all these things because it's a spellcaster. You can go into your Draco sack, apparently that's a good card. So for the Priestess build, it gets your pluses up really well. That opening turn with the 5 cards, you can equal out with your opponent and then overtake them. It applies a lot of pressure, it's a lot more consistent, but it just doesn't have a few of the things that the other deck has, which we'll get to. The cons to the Priestess build. I find that it is weak against really fast decks, against FTK decks. If you open up with your Justice and your Spellbook, all good, you go first, or if you go second, it's more dangerous. You get your Justice, you're going to have an open field unless you have like your Blackhorns and your Phoenix Chains and your Torrentials and your Bottomlesses. If you don't have them, you're kind of a little bit scared because you can get FTK'd, because you are going to have no monsters on the field because you're going to banish your Justice to get your next turn set up. And that's pretty much it for the cons. It's as consistent as a Spellbook deck is going to get at this stage. So now for the World of Prophecy build. So World of Prophecy, 2900 beta, so it's a little bit bigger than that Priestess. 39 when you bump it with power, which is huge. When it is special summoned by a spellbook or spellcaster, so your Spellbook of Life, which is searchable, or your Temperance, add 2 spellbooks from your graveyard to your hand, and then blow up every other card on the field if you can reveal 4 spellbooks with different names. The card is really good, that's why it's worth the risk of getting it in your hand, because if you couldn't tell by the effect, it is the worst feeling when you draw into that shit. When you draw it up and you see it, you're just like, it's a secret rare I don't want to have in my hand. I just don't want it there. So, the pros of the World of Prophecy build. A field nuke is good. Plussing yourself is good. Plussing 2 and negging your opponent A lot is really good. It's a lot of pressure to show your opponent. If they do not have an answer to that World of Prophecy, they are going to have a bad time. This deck does allow you to run Divine Wrath, Phoenix Wingblast, Regeki Break, all those really cool discards. Another thing I love about the World of Prophecy build, it misses Blackhorn of Heaven. You'll know that card. That card sucks. That card is really fucking good. Negate the special summon of the monster. What the shit? Doesn't cost shit. Don't pay 2,000 life points. Don't discard a card. Don't have to neg yourself whatsoever. They're the pros of the deck. The cons of the deck. With Hat and Artifact flying around all over the place, you are really cautious of blowing up the field because you could blow up everything. And even if they don't have any artifacts, they could probably have their Sanctum or anything, so it's pretty fucked up. I find that to be a bad matchup for the World of Prophecy build. This was in the pros, but it's also in the cons. The discard outlets. You are forced to run the discard outlets. You cannot run the World of Prophecy build without running the discard outlets, and they do interfere a lot. And yeah, that discard outlet is taking up 4 or 5 of our slots, so we can't run our cool traps. And a big one to me is you are surviving off one special summon a turn. So I've probably forgotten a lot of things. They're the pros and cons in my opinion of the decks. As I said, I've just switched over from the World to the Priestess build. It is a lot more consistent. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to do profiles of both the decks right now. So see you in a second. 3 Stratos for every spellbook in the deck. Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. 3 +2s. Justice of Prophecy. 3 Win Conditions, High Priestess of Prophecy. 3 Spellbook of Stratos, Spellbook of Secrets. 3 Spellbook Library of the Crescent. 2 Second Draws every turn, Grand Spellbook Tower. 2 Spellbook of the Master, Copier of Spellbooks. 2 Spellbook of Eternity, Get You Banished Back. 2 Searchable Forbidden Lances for Spellcasters, Spellbook of Wisdom. 1 Broken as Fuck card, Spellbook of Fate. 1 Monster Reborn for Spellcasters. 1 Spellbook of Power, 1000 attack plus a Stratos for spellbooks. 1 Book of Moon, interfere with opponent's field and flip your magicians down to plus. 2 Pot of Duality to get into your first turn justices and your first turn spellbooks for justice. 3 Reckless Greeds to get into your spellbooks faster. 2 Fiendish Chain. 2 Black Horn of Heaven. 1 Mirror Force, 1 Torrential Tribute, 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, and 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. World of Prophecy build. 3 Stratos for every spellbook in the deck. 3 Temperance, get into the World of Prophecy and Priestess. 2 World of Prophecies, 1 High Priestess of Prophecy. 2 Stoic of Prophecy to get into your Temperance. 3 Spellbook of Stratos, Spellbook of Secrets. 3 Spellbook Library of the Crescent. 2 Second Draws every turn, Grand Spellbook Tower. 2 Spellbook of the Master, Copier of Spellbooks. 2 Spellbook of Eternity, Get You Banished Back. 2 Searchable Forbidden Lances for Spellcasters, Spellbook of Wisdom. 1 Broken as Fuck card, Spellbook of Fate. 1 Monster Reborn for Spellcasters. 1 Spellbook of Power, 1000 attack plus a Stratos for spellbooks. 1 Foolish Burial, dump your Spellbook of Prophecy to get your Temperances to hand, or dump your World of Prophecy to Spellbook of Life back. 1 Book of Moon to dodge Veilers, flip your Magicians down, and interfere with your opponent. 1 Regeki Break, 2 Phoenix Wingblast, and 1 Divine Wrath for discard outlets to dump those worlds and spellbooks from your hand. 3 Reckless Greeds to get into your spellbooks faster. 2 Fiendish Chain. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole. My next topic will be on Talon Knights, hopefully. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I do appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time, guys. GG.